trying to see if I could. All right. So we are started. I'm doing this on my iPad, so bear with me. It's a little newer for me because my Teams on my computer is having a tough Monday morning. I'm not having a tough Monday morning,
There's
but
an update that's happening today, so that's the issue. Everybody's having it.
I see. I see. And I hope everyone had a safe Halloween weekend and a fun weekend as well. Um, Jamie Vane, you got to start this off by saying what you dressed up as this Halloween.
I dressed up as a Black woman sitting outside passing out candy, drinking champagne, and I
Oh,
nailed it.
that's a dream.
I
A
nailed it.
dream.
What about you?
As you do. I have a box of costumes, and 5 minutes before, I let the kids choose which costume Daddy and I would be, and he was Kermit the Frog, and I was Cookie Monster. So we
Nice.
went trick or treating with the kids, and that's what we were. It sometimes it pays to be a hoarder and to keep on those stupid costumes.
Okay.
but um, but I don't know. I might have to retire Cookie Monster. The eyes are getting a little too googly.
Oh,
So, anyways, thank you everybody for who has joined us. And we are going to take about 20 minutes out of our day. I so appreciate everyone being here. And I would ask for you to share this conversation. I'm going to put it up on our YouTube channel at the end. But this is information that is so rich, and we're so lucky to have someone as talented as Jamie Vane to be with us today, and sharing her words of wisdom, as Jamie Vane would start saying at 45 years old, my 50 years of wisdom. And she really does have it. She's she's a chameleon. She has been an actress, a model, worked at various cosmetic brands, has been at STE, worked in the field. And I met Jamie my first week on the job as a artistry manager. I spent a whole month with her between Florida and Texas, where I really got some one-on-one training. So I know the difference that spending time with you can make, but even just getting these tiny little tidbits of knowledge has helped me in so many ways. So Jamie Vane, kick it off by sharing a little bit about who you are and what you love about what you do.
okay. I think everybody on this call knows me, but I'm Jamie. As you all know, I've worked for Lancome for 16 years now, and I started doing HSN about 5 years ago. But it was always a dream of mine to be able to do that. I think for me, I really love education, training people. And even before I got into education, I was training people, working as an STE side by side, and really helping the beauty advisors to grow. Now that we are in COVID world, we are embracing new ways of working. We all are. And what I love about it is that it's pushing us past our flexibility and creating new ways to connect with them. So today, I've got a few points to share with you of what you can control, what you can influence, and what you need to accept when you're doing
Ooh.
social media, and some of the mistakes that I've made, and some of the things that I learned over the years to help correct. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing you want to do is you always want to start with lighting. Lighting is energy, it's an unspoken energy for your viewer. So if it's really dark, your product doesn't come across as well. But energy also, or lighting, lack thereof, in a it speaks to, and this is what the client is thinking, lack of connection. Because
Hmm.
if you want me to watch you for 20 minutes, I'm not going to watch you if you're in the dark. So having great lighting is important, and knowing where your spots are of darkness. So like for me,
Hmm.
I'm in front of natural lighting window, but I don't rely on that because you can't control the sun. You can't control if a cloud comes by. So you want to control your lighting at all times. Also, too, let's say you have, there's times at HSN, like my sunrise is here about 7:15.
Hmm.
And the sun, I've learned when is a good time to use natural lighting. So like 7 in the
Hmm.
morning, it's a great time for me to use natural lighting. 2 o'clock is not, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
knowing if you're going to elect to use natural lighting, time it out beforehand. If you're going to go on live at 3 o'clock, then you need to practice the day before and look and
Hmm.
measure what
At the
is the
same
lighting like.
time.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that you
That
know what it's going to
that
look
is
like.
so important. I
Mhm.
remember one of the first lives that I did for the Longcomb page on Facebook.
Mhm.
I definitely messed that one up, and I have the shutters, like you could see in the back of
Yeah,
me, in the room that I do the live, and I remember the sun was starting to
yeah,
shift, and you saw the pattern of the shutters on my face, which didn't really like, it was cool and artsy, but it was like you couldn't see anything, and it was very unpredictable. It totally got my brain like going in different directions. And one of the things that I notice about you, Jamie, is your lighting is probably in my opinion, the best lighting that I ever see a presenter have in an
yeah.
in-home atmosphere. Yeah. So that was like one of the things that, I'm very curious about, like, how many lights do you actually have? Because I know you must have a few back there. It's
Oh,
not
I
just
do.
one light.
No.
How
Currently
many?
before me, I have I have five lights
Okay.
up because I know where the shadows are. Like I have a shadow in this corner, so two lights are there. But I'm very aware of where I stand. So this is where I stand for HSN. Here's my HSN backdrop. So
Mhm.
I have marked off where the lights need to be to give me maximum exposure in the face because that's how people are connecting with you. They're looking at your eyes, they're looking at your face. So you want to have your lighting in a good position just in front of you. So maybe it's not just about having one ring light. Maybe it's having various types of ring lights in different positions. Now,
All
I'm going to
right.
show you one of the lights that I use. So this is a really cool LED light. You can get
I
these
love
on
that one.
Amazon, and they have
Wait,
panels.
hold on. Sorry. I think I cut you off when you said where you could get them. Sorry. Go. Will you say where you can get them again?
You can get them from Amazon. And what
Okay.
makes this great is that this is an LED light. So you see the panel that you have here. You can slide it out, put different panels in. But what makes it great is that there's controls on the back where you can control how cool or how warm your setting is, how bright you want it to be, how soft you want it to be. So this is a great one. You just plug it into the wall. You also can do battery if you like, but you can control the depth of the lighting and you have to play around with it to see what do you look best in. Do you look best in warm
Mhm.
light or do you look
Mhm.
best in cooler light? Because I
Mhm.
have a golden undertone, I look better with a cool lighting, particularly if I'm doing shows in the evening. Because
Mhm.
working with people, whether you're talking to them on HSN or whether you're talking to
Mhm.
them on a live, that light really speaks to your energy. And I found that cool lights work best for me. So that's something to really pay attention to. Okay.
Thank you. That's a good tip. And I know that even if maybe you're doing a double host event, it's
Mhm.
always great to get on with the other host that you're doing to make sure your lighting looks similar as well. That's one of the things that can really just kind of create a little bit of chaos if it looks like two completely different rooms. It's not always necessary, but if you are going to be linking up with someone, having a nice aesthetic flow is really important because, like you said, you're not just watching or listening to the words, you're really interacting in a way that helps your senses come alive.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. All right.
All
Any
right, Jamie
questions?
Vane.
Move on to the next thing.
We can do Q&A after. I'll check
Perfect.
the chat throughout, but I'll make
Perfect.
sure that we have time for some Q&A at
Perfect.
the end. So what's
Okay.
our number 2?
Our number two thing is be prepared. The one thing you don't want to do is wing anything social related. You have to, when you first start, you have to ask yourself, what is in it for the client? What is in it for your viewer? Why should they give you 20 to 30 minutes of their time? So be prepared. Do give yourself an outline. You don't have to write a full script, but give yourself bullet points of what you're going to talk about. Whatever you're going to talk about, explain what's in it for them. Why should they give you that time? Um, Now, also too, when you think about it, one of the mistakes that we make is talking, wasting time in the beginning. Hi,
Mhm.
Robert. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Tina. Hi,
Yeah.
everybody. It's a time waster. And it doesn't really, even though it lets that person know that we see them, you can definitely
Hmm.
speak to your client through the replay so that you get
Hmm.
more engagement. You want to
Hmm.
immediately start out, land your opening. Be
Right.
bright, be exciting. Talk about what they're going to get out of today and what you're going to do for them. And then set up your structure of when you're going to answer questions, you know, etc. I'm sorry if I don't get a chance to get to everybody, but I promise you I will answer you and get back to you. So set it up immediately. Be really direct and really land it. Okay. So that's
Like,
my
get to the point right away.
get to the
Be
point.
prepared, get to the point, and, it's always great to let those people who do like to chat a little bit, to let them know you will get to them, either throughout, or you'll make sure to, like, after the fact, answer their
Yeah,
questions in
yeah,
the chat or
exactly.
something like that.
Exactly. And land your opening. The opening is critical to the success of your live. So if you seem uncertain, then your viewer is going to feel uncertain. So make sure you've got everything set up. Your lights are ready. You've tested it a day before. You've got your bullet
Mhm.
points. You've done a run through with, your lighting. Check and make sure your backdrop is set. All of that beforehand. That silent preparation really gives that viewer, it gets your buy-in from them. So be prepared, land your opening, crush that, because that sets up what's going to happen for the rest of your live.
Can I give you a challenge? Will you do a I guess I didn't wait for your response. Um, will you do, like, a opening that you would do maybe on HSN?
I'm going to modify that request and do what I
Okay,
would do probably on a live, because HSN, you have a host that's setting
that's
you
right.
up. And
Yeah.
then they're telling you what we're going to talk about. So then I just go right into product knowledge and what's in it for them. So if I were doing a live, I would definitely thank everyone for coming up front with the generosity. So thanks so much for coming today. I'm so excited. So this is what we're going to talk about. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Lancome's newest serum, Triple Serum, what it does, who it's for, how do you know if you need it. We're going to go through
Ooh,
ingredients and really give you that back pocket information that you need to be successful. How does that sound?
that
Okay,
sounds
let's get
really
right to
good.
it. It's
Okay.
that simple.
I
What it
love it.
is, why we're doing it, what's in it for you. And did you notice that my energy was very exciting?
Yeah,
That's
I mean, I felt like you were talking to just me, even though I know other people are here, but it made me feel very special.
exactly. And that goes to our third nugget, which is engagement. Engagement isn't just about talking to them on chat. It's about making that person feel like, I see you. I'm talking just to you, Robert Goddess, just to you.
Yes.
And, energy is what sells. So if I am excited about a product, you're going to get excited because you can feel my energy. Energy can go through the screen. So having that energy, speaking with your eyes, changing the fluctuation of your voice, being okay to move a little shoulder, smile, use your hands, get people to come into your world. So talking isn't just about what you're talking about. Your body language is also selling the connection with your client. One of my secret tricks that I do for HSN, which is not that a secret anymore, is back when we were in studio, when we had a fragrance sale, we would sit down because fragrance is a little bit more romantic. And,
Mm,
I can take the time to cross my legs. My body language is beautiful. Hold up the bottle
mm,
and talk about it. Really romance those notes, right? But I've discovered in this virtual world, I do better with standing because your
mm.
energy level changes when you sit versus when you stand. So standing for me is another way to engage me. I'm allowed to move a little bit more, talk to you a little bit
Yeah.
more, smile a little bit more. You see the openness of my body as opposed to being closed when you sit down. So your energy and your engagement are really very quite connected when you stand,
And
as opposed
typically
to.
people want to feel that your energy is super strong. And a lot of the times I notice the same thing when I'm a little bit more comfortable and like sitting down.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily closed off, but I am definitely going to stick to the plan of whoever is going to be like talking the most. Like I'm a lot quieter than what I would typically be, but standing really helps me take control of I guess the atmosphere in a
Hmm.
lot of ways, which you definitely have such a great way of doing in a very gentle way. And working with other people, you have a wonderful balance of going back and forth.
Yeah,
And really, I think that that helps a lot when you're standing too, because it keeps you very attentive as well,
it does.
and ready to go. I want to backtrack a little bit here.
Okay.
Um, I don't want to forget this question. I know I said I'd do it at the end, but
Okay.
lighting placement. Can we talk about where you actually place the lights? Is it just in the shadow, or do you have, like, I know that there's 3-point lighting where you have two on the sides, one in front.
Hmm. So for me personally, within the space that I have two in the corner because that's the darkest spot in the room. I
Okay.
have one in this corner as well. And then I have two more kind of sporadically placed because I want an even balance of light.
Okay.
And then, of course, I have one right here. So sometimes more is better when it comes to lighting. You can always tone it down, but you can't create, if you don't have the best lighting, that speaks to your engagement going down and the viewer having to struggle. So you want to make it as easy as possible for them to see your face, to see the product that you're holding. To
Right.
if you're going to do a demonstration, if you're going to do a demonstration, you want that light to be perfect so you can talk about the whip texture and how you
Mhm.
can do your demo close to your hand so that they can see that now the skin is soft, rejuvenated, revived. So you can't see all those things if you don't have enough lighting. So I don't rely on Mother Nature at all for lighting. I like to
Mhm.
put to the left, right to the side, to the side, to the right, and vice versa, and then one right where the camera is. That way there's no guessing games. But I
Per-
had to learn that by making mistakes,
yeah.
through lives.
Yeah. You're advocate on making the mistake and letting it be a learning opportunity. I have a little bit more technical questions to go with lighting.
Okay.
Distance from you, how far away is your lighting?
Okay, so I am standing right now from my phone, which has a ring light attached to it, about 2 feet.
Okay.
Okay, my lighting to the right is about 5 feet away. To my left is 5 feet away. And then my other two smaller lights are about 3 foot in.
Okay,
So
so not
it's
too
just
far away.
personal. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then one more question with the lighting. Sorry. Um, is it going to be right at eye level, or is it do you have one higher, lower?
Question. Good question. Um, I like to have my circular ring lights, the big ones. I like to
Yeah.
have those reflected almost like in a down position, but
Yeah.
towards me. My LED lights, I like to have
Mhm.
them right at me. I typically don't backlight behind me because that
Okay.
can create shadows. And I
Yeah.
want the viewer to not pay attention to my shadows, but I want the brightest light that I can get.
Yeah.
So also, too, if you have overhead lighting, you need to play with that. Is it better to turn that overhead lighting off and just rely on your lights? Or does that overhead lighting, does it create shadows? So that's something else to really think about, is where your lighting is. And all of this happens just from playing around and seeing what looks best. I would take pictures and then compare the pictures together when I move the lights to see what
Yeah.
looks best.
Yeah.
in the virtual world. So that's something else that you
Yeah.
can do too.
Everyone is very fascinated as much as I am, it seems, on this
Okay.
lighting question. And
Okay. What else do we
so
have?
Virginia is asking, do all those lights bother your eyes?
Virginia, if I'm doing an hour-long show for HSN, I definitely have a headache afterwards.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
can I
Yeah.
can agree. The
Mhm.
lights are not that fun to have to like
Yeah.
stare into. Um, and then is it possible for you to drop a picture in the chat of your lighting
I de-
situation as
I
it is?
definitely I can do that afterwards because right now I'm on my phone because I
Of
wanted you
course,
guys to get the
even if you
best.
get it throughout the day or something.
Yes.
No rush.
Yes. Absolutely.
Um, and then Lori says that this is also helpful, so thank you. And then Tina contributed with talking about the landing. The opening is as important landing the welcome to a client that walks up to the counter, which is
Absolutely.
a super good and helpful analogy um,
Absolutely.
to
Because
bridge
you are
that.
talking to the customer. You're just talking to her virtually or him virtually. So learning really landing that opening is, Tina, to your point, and you're totally correct. It's we're talking to the same client. We're just speaking to them in a different medium. But landing it
Mhm.
is so important. I definitely agree.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. We will continue. There
Okay.
was, I think we left off on the third one, and
Yes, we were talking about engagement and energy, standing,
right.
energy cells, speaking through your eyes, using your body language, changing the rhythm of your voice to make it exciting for your client, for that person that you're speaking to virtually. And that creates that real feeling of she's talking to me, he's talking right to me. The eyes really do a lot of speaking. So that was our third
Mhm.
point. Um, the other thing, our fourth point, is don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. I think sometimes in lives, if you don't do the pre work, you can
Mhm.
get off on these little bunny trails. And the next thing you
Mhm.
know, your point didn't land. So
Mhm.
keep it simple, make it fun. If it's too complicated, you lose viewership. So keep it fun, keep it simple, keep it short and sweet, but make it powerful. If I've got 14 minutes to sell fragrance, I sell 14 minutes of fragrance just as passionately as I sell 7 minutes of fragrance. It's just I might need to condense, obviously, in the 7 minute and ask myself, why should this person buy Tracor from me? If I've
Right.
got 14 minutes, then I can really review the notes, like, I don't know, 3, 4 times. If I've only got 7 minutes, then what is important to me? Because time is valuable, right? I want the
Mhm.
client to hear about the notes. I
Mhm.
want the client to feel the emotion that when I talk about Tracor, how it's modern, it's elegant, there's a sophistication to it. But you know what? It's so approachable to everyone. So I want you to think about, when was the last time you had a signature fragrance? When was the last time someone said, wow, you smell incredible? If it's been a long time, then you need to try Tracor. So you guys see what I just did? I created an,
Wow.
why do you need to buy this scent from me that you can't smell? I'm asking you questions. And I have to think about what are the questions that are going to connect with you, the viewer. It's the same thing when you're doing a virtual. Again, why do they need to listen to you? Why do they need to even give you 5 minutes of their time?
I
And
love
the
that.
more, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, I love that you're also doing an example with fragrance because it's like the hardest thing to do virtually because you can't smell it, you can't see it. It's you could see the bottle and how beautiful it is, and you could
Right.
talk about it and read it, but you can't demonstrate it in the way that you can makeup and skincare and things like
Yeah.
that. And so I think that that's so powerful that you could transform that. And you talk about keeping it simple and I think what happens a lot of the time is we have this like inner dialogue that we deal with that's like, well, did you fit this, that, and the kitchen sink into your
Right.
presentation? Because we have to maximize everything at all times. And
Right.
that obviously leads to burnout. And so we kind of go hard on ourselves with like, oh, but we didn't do that, or we didn't do this, or we didn't
Right.
explain that. Or the purist comes out and we're like, well, we used way more products than,
Right.
to prep this than what we actually showed. So how do you kind of like mellow out that inner dialogue that we can all feel.
Here's the true story. No one's the expert. You are. They don't know that you forgot to say something. They don't know if you didn't tell them that you had to prep. They know none of that. They only know what you present to them. So the power is all you. You know, they're not there checking on you to see, did you follow a script? So, like for me, talking, I have bullet points.
Hmm.
I don't have everything written out because when you engage with a person and you're talking to them at counter, you're not getting every little tiny piece of thing that education told you to say, right?
Right.
You're customizing your conversation with that client based off of the conversation that she's having with you. But virtually, you control that.
Right.
They don't know, what you're going to say next. And if you do remember something, come back and say, hey, here's something else that you need to know about Renergy Lift Multi-Action Ultra. And now it's a new nugget. So don't be so hard on yourself if feel like you need to overshare. Sometimes just keep it simple, have fun. And the more you do it, the better you get at it.
That was one of the biggest call outs I remember with you coaching me when we first started.
Yeah.
Was like, why are you so nervous, or why
Right.
why do you feel like you have to say everything exactly the right way? And so I am one of those people that wants to do it the right way. And really, what you said on you're the expert. You have to
Mhm.
really understand that and own that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, Jamie Vane, what else
Sure.
do you got for us?
Let's see what else. Let's talk about transitions.
Yes.
When you, let's say, first of all, you should not really talk on a live for longer than 30 minutes. And this is something we all learned through COVID. It was different at the beginning because people just wanted to connect. So there were 45-minute lives. But let's be honest,
Yeah.
anything longer than 20 to 30 minutes, you lose viewership. So
Right.
one of the things that we were doing in the beginning was talking about, oh, we're going to talk about the entire toner line. Snooze fast. Snooze fast. Talk about no more than 2 products that will allow your viewer to have time to interact with you. And it allows you to really be a subject matter expert because you won't have 45 pieces of paper around and you're trying to read. It allows you to be authentic because you did the prep work beforehand. You studied those 2 things and keep it simple, no more than 2 products. So that allows you to transition from one product to the next. So, for example, let's say I'm talking about Genifique. I'm talking about what it does, who's for the energy. I'm doing a demonstration of the product on the hand when I'm talking about texture so the client can see how lightweight it is. Talk about it's a serum, what it's for. But then I can say, but you know what? This is an incredible serum. Let me show you an incredible moisturizer that's really going to up your game anymore,
Hmm.
a lot more. If I could show you a moisturizer that will complement this Genifique and give you faster results, would you be interested? Okay, I know you would. And that's why I want to share with you my second product, Renergy Lift Multi-Action Ultra. Transitions don't have to be crazy. It can be,
Right.
so we've talked about this. Now I'm going to show you the perfect partner to go with it.
So
Why?
that makes a lot of sense. When a lot of people are now doing these holiday virtual parties, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we have a lot of holiday sets. So how do you talk about like a beauty box, which comes with several things, and really get the quality that you want in under
Right.
30 minutes?
So what is the value of the beauty box to the client that you're talking to? Obviously, it's a lot. Obviously, it's 9 full-size products, right? You can acknowledge there are 9 full-size products in this incredible box. I want to talk to you about the products that I think will be your game changer. Let's start with Genifique, because I don't need to talk to you about lipstick, right? Everybody knows how to put on lipstick. We don't need to talk about that. Everybody knows how to put on mascara. We don't need to talk about that. Can you give a one sentence uh, about the product? This is our number one selling to finish those natural yet noticeable lashes. Along with it is Seals Booster. Primes your lashes, conditions them, gets them ready to go. Spend your time where the money is, what the client would really enjoy. Um, It'd be different if it was like 45 lipsticks and we had talked about all of them. But where's the money at? The money is in the skincare. That's where the money is at. So spend your time talking about the things that are relevant to your client.
That's what I love about your advice. It all goes back to you and it goes back to your client. Like, who is your client? And after you take us through what you are doing, I have a loaded question from Lindsay.
Okay. So in this set, I'm not going to spend talking about a highlighter. My viewer knows what to do with that. With the missing
Right.
lipstick, we're not talking about that. Bullet points. Number one, makeup remover in the world. Shake it up, put it on, dissolves your makeup instantly. Spend your time talking about your skincare. Because if you think about what this box is about, it's about why does that person need it? Talk about how you can break it apart like we did in Passport to Paris and make optimal gifts. So really think about what is
Oh
the
my gosh, I
value.
love that segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's
Does
so
that help?
real. Yes, thank you. It's almost like putting a theme to whatever you're talking about. You might have a lot of things going on, but what does a client really want to see? Do they want to see a highlighter that is overdone sometimes, or do
Mm-hmm.
they want to understand the value to them?
Right. I mean, you definitely
So
want to acknowledge the products, but don't spend a lot of time on products that your client already knows how to use. You want to go with those things that are magical and
right.
spend your time there.
I'm cracking up because Beth Morris just put in the chat a picture with Kim Kardashian that says,
Oh, I
"Love that
see.
advice. Skincare equals dollar signs," which is it's
Dollar
true.
bills,
It's
dollar,
what
dollar bills.
I was thinking, as well as like, but you're going to get more of a you're going to be able to prioritize your shows in that way
Yeah.
if you think of the client, what do they want? Okay, so here's the question. What would you recommend for an Iconic 5 training to keep it engaging?
Literally the same thing. That's a great question, Lindsay. What is in it for them? Why do they need to know about the iconics? How do you make it engaging and fun? Make it short and sweet. Give them
Mhm.
exactly what they need. Do they need to have the whole education training in that time? No, we need to create the need of here's where we start. This is Genifique. Why it's so powerful is that it does multiple things in a really quick time. So what are you going to see as a viewer? You're going to see skin that's firmer, more elastic. You're going to see that radiance come back to the skin. So it goes back to that same formula of how do you make it engaging and fun, and what's in it for them. And whether you're doing it virtually or whether you're doing it in store, it's the same thing, because
Right.
you're still talking to a viewer. You're just speaking to them physically or virtually. Does that help,
Yeah.
Lindsay? Tell me yes or no, or tell Caroline.
I'll keep my eye on the chat. And if you have for those of you who are listening and watching the call, let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and drop that into the chat. She may have gone off the call, but I'll make sure that this post is up so she gets the answer if she cannot respond. Yes, that helped.
Okay.
People have to get going, which I totally
Yes,
understand.
because we're
But
already at
in
our
case,
limit.
right, before we get going, I wanted to just put some time up. Are there any other questions that you might have out there for Miss Jamie Vane on going live virtually? Put it in the chat or unmute your mic. It looks like you've really made everyone pretty happy today,
Oh, good. I love
which
that.
is no surprise.
Well, hopefully
um,
everyone has that feeling of happiness and connectivity. And that's really what you want. You want them to be happy they came, because then they want to come back when they see you again. So the
yeah,
next time you do another live, they're like, oh my God, I had so much
it's
fun.
addicting. Yeah,
So that feeling, if you're feeling great right now, that's the feeling that you want to be able to give to your viewers so they come back and see you again the next time.
I love it. There's people that are very excited for this talk, and there are some Carlton
Ooh,
memes in the chat.
I love it.
uh, People saying thank you for the tips. And Jamie Vane, thank you so much. I'm going to read Virginia's because it's so true. Thank you so much for your time and knowledge. We appreciate you. We
Oh,
appreciate you so much. You are so, you go from this thing to the next, and you're kind of everywhere. You're such a hard worker, but you're always so positive and kind and gracious with your
thank you.
information. So thank you so much for everything you do for the brand, and then also just who you are, and staying strong in that power of Jamie Vane. So thank you everybody who
Thank you,
came. I
guys.
know that you have to get going. I appreciate you, and make sure if you have any other questions to drop them in the chat, and I'll chase after Jamie to give me those answers.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Pleasure to be on with you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.